Aid agencies in East Timor are becoming frustrated in their efforts to feed the starving. Violence on the streets still blocks supplies getting to refugees desperately in need of food. Even in Dili, the military is unable to ensure total security.
Nowhere is truly safe. Even at the Catholic convent we visited yesterday, terror is endured almost daily. Nearby gunfire sends nuns and others dashing for shelters. Many in the immediate neighbourhood also came running. Throughout all the chaos, the convent has escaped direct violence. It's the first place they head for. But the militia gunmen were not concerned with these people. They were firing into the sky to provoke soldiers at a British Gurkha base down the road. They assumed they were about to come under attack. For the first time since the peacekeepers arrived, the soldiers were about to open fire. Several truckloads of militia were heading their way.
Look at them coming! Vehicles and weapons!
But suddenly the danger passed. The trucks drove by, the gunmen sending only a wave.
We've seen 3 wagon loads of militia go past, way too big for us to take on. Over.
In case they dropped off other gunmen, the Gurkhas were sent in hot pursuit, scrambling through the area for an hour before they gave the all clear. It's a graphic demonstration of the renewed violence that's frustrating the mercy work of aid agencies. So far, they've been unable to reach the people who are now emerging from their hiding places in the hills above Dili.
Security is really the big issue. It's hard for us to give out food when we're dodging bullets.
These people know the peacekeepers are in the capital, but many are not ready to go back down yet.
The situation right now, it is not good.
East Timor's population is just 800,000. More than half are still thought to be in hiding. What nobody knows, of course, for sure, is what the situation is outside of the capital, where aid agencies fear a humanitarian catastrophe could be unfolding. The Red Cross was the first humanitarian agency to return to the stricken capital. Today, doctors who've just arrived were doing their rounds at the city's only functioning hospital. The patients include 8-year-old Irene Liliana. Her right eye was glazed by a stray bullet. Doctors fear she'll never see properly again. Others are being treated for wounds inflicted during the worst of the bloodletting 3 weeks ago.
There are gunshot wounds, wounds inflicted by knives. Nothing life-threatening. We must presume that people more badly wounded have not made it until now.
Australian troops have found themselves caught up in a tense standoff this evening. Our soldiers are caught between angry East Timorese locals and departing Indonesian soldiers. The Australians are outnumbered, but are doing the best to calm the situation as best they can. And joining me with this late development...
And the Australian-led peacekeeping force is tightening its grip on Dili, today raiding another militia hideout. It's an action now becoming an increasingly common sight in the city, and local residents appear happy to help.
On the outskirts of Dili, another militia stronghold. Hidden in a banana plantation, it was pointed out by locals. At this home they found evidence of recent militia presence. The men had fled but left plenty behind. Mattresses on the floor, signs on the walls.
They want to follow Indonesia.
And watches and jewellery stolen from the East Timorese. Out the back, soldiers discovered vital intelligence, paperwork listing the names of militia members.
I'd say, just looking at it, there's some sort of roll book.
The documents also included details of the UN's mission in East Timor during the independence vote. A booby trap protecting a suspected weapons store had to be rendered safe. Luckily, there were no explosives and no weapons. Locals are beginning to open up to the Australian soldiers, ready to help them weed out those who have conducted a reign of terror here for so long.
Pointing out areas that they think the militia are in so that we can go and apprehend the militia.
The sweep across parts of the capital has been swift and strong. Troops using anything they can to get into buildings and find any trace of the militia. These scenes certain to be repeated as the peacekeepers secure the area.
I think we're definitely hammering home our message. There's going to be a lot more of that, and I think that the message that they're getting is that there's definitely a new sheriff in town.
And while the militia presence here in Dili seems to be declining, they're leaving behind deadly reminders of just how dangerous and cunning they can be. Here at Bishop Carlos Bello's abandoned home, a booby-trap hand grenade was found in a flower pot this morning. With a wick attached, all it needed was to be ignited.
Like a fuse which has been improvised in the bottom, and it's got a bit of cord there which obviously lights. It's like a time fuse type thing.
But a lighter moment for some of our troops this afternoon. A few lucky ones who have been on patrol for the past 3 days were given time out to watch the AFL Grand Final. While at the dock, more military hardware arrived from Australia, HMAS Tobruk unloading under the watchful and appreciative eyes of locals. With each passing day, they grow more secure. In Dili, Simon Boda, National 9 News.
The Indonesian military is expected to hand over full control of East Timor security to the peacekeeping force on Monday. Thousands of Indonesian troops have already left the province, helped on their way by jeering crowds of locals.
A picture of humiliation. Departing Indonesian soldiers jeered by those who've endured 24 years of brutal military occupation. Australian troops were their protectors now. These soldiers have left a land they've destroyed, looted and terrorized. Those too young to understand what was going on, sharing in this historic moment. Their withdrawal was the trigger for street celebrations, celebrations that should have begun after the results of East Timor's landmark referendum 3 weeks ago. They are glad that Indonesia's armed forces are finally withdrawing, because just about everyone here has a story to tell about suffering at their hands, and few are in a forgiving mood.
You are bad people in this world. Go, we don't want to see your face in East Timor. We just want multinational force protect us.
We must go, and I am very happy to Indonesian withdrew to Indonesian land.
11,500 Indonesian troops are now leaving East Timor. The 4,500 who remain will be pulled out gradually over the coming weeks. Some of those who fled to the mountains have now started to return to a city that aid agencies fear could take 5 years to rebuild. This scene a symbol of the desperation here. Hundreds of East Timorese refugees breaking into a warehouse and taking everything they could, the foreign troops doing nothing to stop them. Adrian Brown, National 9 News, Dili.